Hybrid shoes like these, which are sleeker and a lot more sophisticated, a lot more classic looking, still can never truly replace a classic dress shoe such as this. And although I really enjoy the Cole Haan Original Grand, I think I'm almost like a spokesperson for this type of shoe at this point, or this exact shoe. There is no question, if I'm going to a wedding, if I'm rocking a suit, if I'm rocking an outfit like you're seeing right now, which is a sport coat over a dress shirt and some nice gray chinos, I'm gonna wanna wear something like this every single time over the Cole Haan Original Grand or any other hybrid style dress shoe, no matter how sleek or how good it looks. Because at the end of the day, a classic style dress shoe is always going to be a much more appropriate option than something like this. But with that being said, you should not avoid a hybrid shoe like this. These are still an essential part of your wardrobe, and we're going to talk about that now. So let's say you've got a job interview in the middle of New York City, or you've got to take the train, wherever you are. Let's say you have to dress up in a suit or dress up in a very nice attire, business casual or higher, right? You can't wear jeans, you can't wear t-shirts. But you want something that's going to look good. Of course, the dress shoe is going to be an amazing option, especially something like this in this medium brown color. The wingtip design makes it casual and playful, especially when compared to something like an all black Oxford cap, so something like that is going to be a bit too dressy. But like I said, if you're taking the train, if you're standing, maybe you're walking a lot for lunch, if you're not used to wearing a classic dress shoe with no cushioning at all on the heels and a very thin sole, or maybe you have some foot problems, or maybe you just don't normally walk more than a mile a day when you're wearing your dress shoes, now you gotta walk 3, 4, 5 miles, I'm telling you, your feet are going to be absolutely killing you. Now, what do a lot of guys do? Well, they end up just putting these in their backpack, putting these in their shoulder bag, and then as they're walking, as they're commuting, they wear something like this. And while this all black Adidas Ultra Boost is an absolutely awesome running shoe, it's a sleeker shoe. The all black colorway does make it a lot more sophisticated than something like a super bright green, bright red. It's still a running shoe, and it's still going to look very inappropriate when you're wearing it with your otherwise formal or semi-formal attire, even if you are taking the subway, taking the train, walking, standing. It's going to be really hard, not hard, it's going to be impossible to wear these with your semi-formal attire. And this is where something like a hybrid shoe that's nicer and emulates the look of a classic dress shoe does come in. Because now, number one, you don't have to throw these in your bag and change in and out of your shoes when you get to the office and when you leave your office. So that's number one. Number two, these are going to be a lot more comfortable than the classic dress shoe we were just talking about. So if you do have foot problems, maybe you have plantar fasciitis, maybe you have sore arches, maybe you're just not used to walking for a long time, something like this is going to be a lifesaver. And while it's not going to look as appropriate as a classic dress shoe, it is going to look miles better than wearing something like an all black sneaker. And this is a point that I see a lot of fashion influencers just don't mention. Yeah, it's easy to say, wear a suit, don't wear sneakers, don't wear shoes like this, it's hybrid, it's this, it's that. Okay, I get it, totally right. But what happens when your feet hurt? What happens when it's raining? What happens when your car breaks down and you gotta walk 2, 3, 4, 5 miles? Or you live in New York City. Come to New York City and you'll see how fast these are going to hurt your feet. You're gonna, after an hour, probably gonna have sore heels, sore arches, and depending on if you're in good shape or maybe you're just kind of doing a little bit more of a sedentary lifestyle, these are gonna cause a lot of pain, and that pain you're gonna feel for the next couple of weeks, depending on, like I said, your age and your fitness level. That's where a lot of this general advice of avoid these shoes at all costs just doesn't hold water. Just feels like the purpose of this shoe is very misunderstood. It's supposed to hit right in the middle of something super casual and comfortable like an Adidas and something a lot more sophisticated, a lot more dressy, but not quite as comfortable. Okay, so I've convinced you. You're getting ready to get a pair of hybrid dress shoes. They're gonna look pretty close to your regular classic dress shoes, right? Well, not so fast. Typically, hybrid dress shoes are going to be a lot cheaper than something like, I keep putting it back and then having to grab it. They're gonna be a lot cheaper than something like an Allen Edmonds McAllister or even a nicer dress shoe. $400 list price. These are gonna be $200 list price. You could often find them for $150. So you're talking almost 4 times, or at least, I don't know, my brain's not ready to do math right now, 150, 300, 450, almost 3 times the price of these are almost 3 times the price as these. And it's not just because of the name Allen Edmonds carries a higher price tag or a higher status than Cole Haan. It's because they're using more of a high-end leather and more of a high-end, just a high-end, more higher of an end construction, more higher end of a construction type. Let's take a look at the wrinkles in these McAllisters. You can see they are pretty much non-existent, very tasteful. And these pair of Cole Haans are actually relatively new. I just started wearing them. Let's see if you could see those wrinkles. Already it's starting to wrinkle. Now, I did not need to buy these. I still have plenty of tread on my older Cole Haan Original Grand Wingtip Oxford. And you can see, again, this one, the newer one, just has a bit more of a medallion over on the toe. This one is a bit more plain, and if we look closely, we could see that the one over here just has a bit more of a heel cushioning. The sole is a bit bigger. But let's take a look at the wrinkles up here. See how it just doesn't look quite as good, and this is really something that's going to prevent you from wearing this with anything nicer than honestly a pair of jeans. So if you're saying to yourself, okay, this rando on the internet has convinced me, let me go out and buy a pair of hybrid shoes, you've just got to make sure that you always keep them in shoe trees and you always want to polish and condition them pretty much right away, because this leather, if you don't take expert care of it, if you're not 100% on it, it's not going to look anywhere near as nice as this. This is going to look pretty rough, pretty fast. Look at the difference between these two. The left one is the older one. Maybe you can't see a difference, but I can, and this is why I would not want to wear this with nicer attire. You can't miss any type of maintenance on these shoes. Take them off, put shoe trees in them right away, condition them once every few months. Don't forget to polish them. It's going to be a lot more work, or a significant amount more work, keeping them looking nice and able to dress up with formal, semi-formal attire. Whereas something like the McAllister, you know, maybe you don't have to polish it as much, you don't have to condition it as much. If you take it off and you don't remember to put shoe trees in it right away, put them in the next day, not going to be a big deal. It's super easy to put shoe trees in, so I don't have an issue with doing that. But you're going to have a lot more room for error when it comes to a shoe that is a higher quality leather like this than something that is honestly a lot more of a cheaper shoe overall. It's going to be a little bit harder to keep it looking nice. Okay, I want you to check out this outfit, and just from this distance, from afar, see if you can see anything wrong with it. White dress shirt, medium blue sport coat, nice amoeba pocket squares, nice watch, cuffs showing, nice medium brown Anson belt, gray chinos, and nice medium brown matching shoes. And because this video is about them, you probably realize that I am wearing the Cole Haan Original Grand Hybrid shoes, the nicer ones that are more shined up and more of the appropriate color with the darker colored soles. Now, if I was going to wear this outfit into New York City for a business lunch, meet a potential client, go for an interview, go anytime basically that I have to dress nice, I would not hesitate to wear these hybrid dress shoes over something than the McAllister Wingtip Oxford that we showed you before, just because I know that my feet, my legs, my knees are not going to be bothering me. And every time I go into Manhattan, into New York City, I do like to sometimes just walk around a bit, catch some of the vibes, whether the vibes are good or a little bit unsafe, depends on who you ask, depends on what's going on. Just going to be a lot easier, a lot nicer on your feet, especially some of these subway stations. You're going up and down multiple flights of stairs, and you're not always going to get a seat depending on what time of the day you're riding the train.